I'm disgusted. I'm ashamed of those moderators at ABC News. They did exactly what their bosses wanted them to do. The person who runs ABC News is a close personal friend of Kamala Harris that is responsible for Kamala Harris and her husband meeting. It was 3 against 1. The numerous fact checks on what he said and none on what she said. None. And she lied repeatedly. When Trump tried to say that his comment that he lost 2020 by a whisker was him being sarcastic, David Muir actually injected saying, I didn't hear sarcasm. Who gives a shit what you heard?
What's going on, everyone? Jerry here from The Quartering, and yikes, I watched the debate last night, so you didn't have to. And I think I can confidently say it was the most biased, embarrassing thing that I've ever seen on television. And I thought some of the debates that Hillary Clinton was in were bad. This was nonsense. There were literal moments where Donald Trump was debating the moderators. Everybody saw it. And normies, look, I would understand if normies or why normies say, oh, well, Kamala Harris won. I mean, it was 3v1. They fact-checked her on nothing, which I'm going to go over right now. And yeah, I think Trump could have done better. They pushed the right buttons on him about his, he's so sensitive about his debate or his rallies. He got a little unhinged at times. Kamala's already asking for another debate. I think Trump should do it. I think the fact that she's asking for another debate means that they believe they're still wrong. Let's just look at some of the absurd bias that was going on. By the way, until the end of the day today, 20% off my entire lineup at coffeebrandcoffee.com with promo code DEBATE. All my coffee roasted fresh on demand, available in whole bean and ground. Stuff like blueberry cobbler, strawberries and cream, our silky ultra dark roast, which is super popular. Butterscotch toffee, our summer flavors like hazelnut churro, blackberry cream. We have our Colombian, our Ethiopian, our dark roast. We have everything you could want, roasted fresh on demand, not some garbage drop ship stuff like most people are out there selling. And if you don't like it, 100% money back guarantee. And your support means the world to me. So if you like coffee or you know someone who does, check it out. Now, if you're wondering why ABC moderators are trying to discredit Trump every time he finishes a literal sentence, is because David Muir has covered him negatively 93% of the time and is the most pro-Harris host on TV. 100% of the things that he has said about Harris has been positive. Okay. The moderators were some of the most embarrassing losers I've ever seen on the planet. Yeah, this is going to set Trump back a few weeks. It is. Thankfully, there is still 2 months till the election. All right. The betting markets reacted last night. Trump, Kamala Harris erased a 6-point lead that Trump had in the markets. However, Trump still leads. Trump still leads this morning. And we'll see some pro-debate polls coming out. I thought this commercial was great, or this cartoon. Trump yelling at ABC, excuse me, do you guys still need me here? Where Kamala Harris is, saying, well, you guys are doing my job for me. The White House contact now says ABC is now worried about being shut out of a Trump White House if he should win, following these ambush tactics. They should be. They should be. And here's a great thread by Colin Rugg I want to talk about. Basically, if you're wondering how they were biased, they literally fact-checked Kamala Harris 0 times, even though she spouted numerous lies. And they were practically interrupting Trump while he was still talking. They tried to debunk the people are eating animals' pets, which I will prove in a later video today. They literally said, no, that's not true. Except it is true, it would appear. Here's 5, just 5, okay? The mandatory firearms buyback. Kamala Harris told Trump to, quote, stop lying about her wanting to confiscate firearms. Harris has previously stated multiple times that she wants to launch a mandatory buyback program. The ABC moderators said nothing at all. She also repeated the very fine people hoax. Kamala Harris claimed Trump called the some bad people, quote, very fine people. This hoax was debunked by Snopes, but the ABC moderators, of course, let that slide. The post-birth abortion, Trump claimed that babies were aborted outside of the womb in failed abortions. Under Tim Walz, babies were born alive in botched abortions and allowed to be left to pass away. 8 babies who survived abortions in Minnesota alone were abandoned and perished under Walz. ABC said that was untrue. They simply said Trump was lying and moved on without adding any context whatsoever. Defund the police. Kamala Harris laughed when Trump said she wanted to defund the police. During a previous interview, Harris has said having more cops on the street is, quote, wrong. She also supported taking police officers out of schools. The ABC moderators said nothing. She also was able to pass off the bloodbath hoax. Kamala Harris claimed that Trump said there would be a bloodbath if he does not get elected, insinuating his supporters would start ending other people's lives. This is completely false. The comment was made during a rally where Trump said that would happen in the American auto industry if he's not elected. The ABC moderators said nothing at all. Fact check. Last night's 3-on-1 debate, the ABC News moderators used misleading crime data from the FBI to, quote, fact check Donald Trump. The reality is that Trump, as he usually is, was right. Crime is not down. It's way up. Kamala Harris and her willing accomplices in the mainstream media would have you believe that aggressive crime in America is at a 50-year low, a narrative eagerly parroted by so-called fact checkers at PolitiFact and now ABC News. The reality, however, is far from what they claim. The only thing at a 50-year low is the integrity of the data. Less than a year after taking office, the Biden-Harris administration had the FBI dismantle the long-standing crime reporting system, replacing it in 2021 with a new, quote, woke system that is optional for state and local law enforcement agencies to use. As a result, at least 6,000 law enforcement agencies aren't even providing data, meaning that 25% of the country's crime is not even captured by the FBI. This deliberate underreporting skews statistics, painting falsely optimistic picture of public safety while real Americans continue to suffer from rising crime. Again, they're not doing any favors, okay? I mean, ultimately, people see it in the streets, right? They see that it isn't safer out there. Robert F. Kennedy just absolutely shreds ABC News. Check this out.
Fortunately, we had moderators who were clearly biased, who were constantly fact-checking Donald Trump. None of these kind of whoppers that the vice president was saying, and none of her failure to really explain that, answer that first question, that very, very critical
Never
first
answered
question. They simply sat there on the sidelines and allowed that to pass.
One of the most embarrassing, how you knew it was over last night, was when Donald Trump they asked the question. The moderators asked the question. Hey, most Americans say that they are not better off now than they were before. To answer that, Kamala Harris just launched into a 90-second word salad that all the moderators had to do was say, well, can you explain that? One big miss that Donald Trump had, I think, is when she keeps saying opportunity economy, all Trump has to say is, can you explain what an opportunity economy is? It's this buzzword that the Kamala Harris campaign keeps using. Oh, it's an opportunity economy. What does that mean? What does that even mean? Trump calls in to roast the ABC moderators for not debunking Kamala's lies. They're dishonest. ABC took a big hit last night. They ought to take away their license for doing that.
Yeah, Mr. President, we kind of expected it because when you look at Media Research Center, they said was negative. So it was infuriating to watch them fact check you and not her when she brought up IVF, when she brought up Project 2025 several times, and when she brought up Charlottesville. Here are some of the lies that she said about you. Listen.
A detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025.
They could have fact checked that. The actual creator of it or the former leader of it came out and said Donald Trump doesn't have anything to do with it. instead of going after Kamala Harris and saying, no, that's a lie, which is what they would have done against Trump, they just let it slide. Here's more proof that the ABC moderators were the furthest thing from moderators. Kamala Harris repeated the exact same lie that Trump called the very fine people. We talked about that. Watch Tulsi Gabbard fact check Harris's pathetic lies. She tried to say he supported a federal abortion ban. He does not. She tried to tell the American people that he wants to ban IVF. He does not.
I think he clarified and told the truth about a lot of things that Kamala Harris accused him of that were outright lies. She was trying to tell the American people that he supports a federal abortion ban. He does not. She tried to tell the American people that he's trying to ban IVF, something that's personal to me because it's something that my husband and I, for years, tried to start our own family through the use of IVF. It didn't work out for us, works out for a lot of families. President Trump was quick on the draw when that Alabama court ruled, and he immediately said, no, we have to protect IVF, and the Alabama state legislature took action. She continued to say things. She's trying to say he's trying to ban birth control. That is also 100% false. So President Trump, I think, did a good job in clarifying.
He did when they let him talk. The moderators didn't fact check Kamala Harris on the very fine people, IVF, Project 2025, bloodbath, but they kept fact checking Trump. This is a setup. I mean, if you look today, Kamala Harris and the moderators attempted to gotcha Trump by mentioning his negotiations with the Taliban even. Trump's response was an epic moment. Watch this.
If you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fighting force within Afghanistan.
Kamala's
they don't bother
stupid
doing
faces
that
all
because,
night,
they
too.
deal with the wrong people all the time. But I got involved. And Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems.
Look at her stupid
face. And he
face.
said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed. We did have an agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo. It was a very good agreement. The reason it was good, it was we were getting out. We would have been out faster than them, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind, and we wouldn't have left $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind. And just to finish, they blew it. The agreement said you have to do this, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it. The agreement was terminated by us because they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
I want to move
and
on.
these people...
I want to move on, they said. I want to move on. Every time he was on a roll, I want to move on. Every time that Kamala was on a roll, they stayed. I mean, how long did they linger on abortion? By the way, while I'm recording this video, Trump has now opened a 1.3 point lead in the betting markets, up from 0.5. Again, things will level out, but the level of absurdity and bias in last night's debate is embarrassing. It's embarrassing for ABC. If Trump wins the election, he should absolutely, unequivocally bar them from being them. You know, I mean, like saying, you know, why don't you leave the debate and go wake up the president? Not checking them. You know, again, all of these, it is so insane. I'm going to have lots of coverages on this today. I know I'm sure that it's boring. Yeah, this was so embarrassing. From the smaller podium to everything about it. Lock it in here. Leave a like on this video. If you haven't yet, subscribe or follow down below so you can actually get notified when I upload.